So today I'm reporting to you with my bare face because I'll be trying out a foundation, concealer and a setting powder in a bit. But today I wanted to address a topic or a concern of many people who are new to makeup or beginners in makeup, which basically is how to choose your right foundation shade. And in a little bit you'll see a clip where I head to my local drugstore, either a Watsons or a Guardian in Singapore, and what I would do if I were a person who has no knowledge of makeup and just wants to find a foundation match that is super accurate to my actual skin tone, and the tips and tricks that I actually use in order to get an accurate shade match. Which is pretty simple, but many people get led astray by buying something that's a little too dark or a little too light for them. So I just wanted to do this video so that whoever who struggles with that can actually, find a foundation that matches your actual skin tone and don't have to repurchase 1,000,001 other foundations. But today I'll be working with the Revlon Colorstay line, and I'll be trying their Revlon Colorstay makeup in the liquid pump version. This one's for combination and oily skin. I have the shade 180 Sand Beige. It comes with a pump. When Revlon first released this, it didn't have a pump, and now they really repackaged it to have a pump, and basically it's a lot more hygienic and it doesn't oxidize as easily. This is going to be a super good find for people who are starting out in makeup and want that full coverage to medium coverage type of a foundation, and it's super good for oily skin people. Moving on, I'll be trying out their concealer from the Colostay range as well. It has a doe foot applicator, so it makes it really easy to apply. Last but not least, I'll be trying the Revlon Colorstay setting powder in light medium as well. So if you guys want to see how I apply all this onto my face before I head out to show you guys how to pick your accurate foundation match, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I brought you up closer. You can see my skin in its natural state. I have a lot of acne scarring. I'm an oily skin girl, so that just proves to be a little bit complicated when choosing a foundation that's suitable to your skin type. For me, because my T-zone is oily, I have a lot of discolorations and dark under eye circles. I need something that's pretty full coverage and also is suitable for an oily combination skin type. So this is perfect because if you guys know the iconic Revlon Colorstay, that the product is just super buildable and it's really full coverage. So I'm just going to use a little bit. I'm going to be applying on the right side of my face with a beauty blender and on the other side with a Real Techniques foundation brush, just to show you different methods of application. I'm just going to show you how I do my full coverage foundation routine before we head out. So I just put a little bit on the beauty blender and I'm dabbing it into my skin. So as you can see, it pretty much covered up all that I need to, and it doesn't look super unnatural. I find that the formulation is really lightweight on the skin and it's not super thick. Also, it covers up a lot of discolorations without looking too cakey on the skin. I find that with a beauty blender it spreads out really well. A lot of my acne spots, you can see they are predominantly like purple discolorations, which generally require a color corrector underneath the foundation, but I find that the foundation itself works really well. So that's how both sides look, and with a brush you use a lot less product because the sponge actually does absorb it. But on the right side, as you can see, it looks a lot more natural. On the left side, it's just really quick and easy to use a brush for every day. But the thing is that between the two methods of application, I find that this foundation works better with actually either of them. It looks really put together, and I generally prefer using the sponge because it retains the hydration of the skin, and also it just allows you to have time to work with the product. With a foundation brush, it gives you a little blendability and strokes, but the foundation does set quite quickly, which is one of the perks of this foundation because it allows for building. You're able to put another layer on top to build the intensity and the coverage abilities of the actual foundation. But yeah, both methods are really good and handy to have when you're in a rush in the morning. So yeah, that's basically my overall thoughts about the foundation, and it's really good for people with acne issues or even an oily skin type, because it's catered to people with those issues essentially. So moving on to the concealer, any other spots I have, I will just use the doe foot applicator. So that's how the concealer looks. It's a really lightweight formulation that sits under the eyes really well. It's actually super hydrating and also goes really well with the Colostay range. I find that the shade match is super good for my skin tone. I'm an NC 20 to 25 with a yellow olive undertone. So that just means that sometimes choosing a foundation shade can be a little tricky with the undertone, but I find that this matches my natural skin tone, especially my neck area, really well, and it makes me look really brightened as well as true to what my actual skin tone, which is something I truly appreciate in the products that I use. So last but not least, I'm going to set everything with a light coating of powder so that it stays all day. As you can see, the finish it gives now, it is really nice and natural, but sometimes for oily skin girls especially, it doesn't last because it is a little bit oily looking or a little bit tacky looking. You want everything to just look a little bit more mattified so that your oils seep through a little later. It's going into the setting powder. I love this powder because it is really finely milled and also it doesn't look like anything too much on the skin. I like to set my under eye area and the other side as well, and lightly set the T-zone. As I mentioned, I get oily in these areas, so I find that putting a little bit of this Revlon Colorstay powder really delays the production of my oils, and also it just makes everything look a little more natural. I don't like to powder my whole face because I do like a little bit of a dewy appearance. So if you're a little bit more oily than I am, then you might want to lightly set the whole face, but I suggest not putting too much powder just because it looks really cakey. But this powder itself is super buildable and really finely milled that you don't have to worry about using too much or using too little. Basically, this is how my face looks, and I'm really happy with how little time I actually took to do such a full coverage type makeup. And yeah, as you guys saw before, I had a lot of acne scarring and now everything's looking pretty cohesive. I do have really severe acne with a lot of, you know, discolorations because unfortunately I'm one of those people that like to pop my pimples, and it's really bad. But especially on my period, things do tend to look a lot worse, but this foundation has never failed me and will never fail me. So yes, I'm just going to do the rest of my makeup and I'll show you how everything looks. Okay, and that's how my whole face looks like with a full face done of makeup. And as you can see, everything is looking really good, and I find that the combination of these three products, the foundation, concealer and setting powder, it works super well together as well as apart. You can tell that if you use the setting powder on its own in combination with other foundations that you have, it will still look great because the powder is so finely milled. The concealer is really hydrating under the eye, so it doesn't really matter whether or not you use them together, but together they give a very nice and flawless appearance, which I love. And I think everything's looking really beautiful on my skin despite my really acne prone and also acne scarred condition. But yeah, this is perfect for anyone who's a beginner in makeup or someone who is already a professional that just wants that kind of medium to full coverage type of foundation as well as a concealer. So yes, I have not much else to add at this point, so I'm getting ready to head out the house so that we can go over to a drugstore so that we can pick out our accurate foundation match. So yeah, let's just get going. Okay, so I'm now heading to my nearest drugstore, which is the Guardian or Watsons in Singapore, that is located at Bukit Timah Plaza. So I'm just heading down here and you can see a shot of the nearest drugstore near my place. And this is the Revlon stand that they have to offer at the current Guardian that I'm at. It's really beautiful and super classic. I really love the Revlon stand. So as you can see, here is the Colostay range, and basically what I do to find my accurate foundation match is pretty simple. I look at what I want to get. I pick around 3 shades that I see is the closest to my skin tone. Then what I do is I pump a little bit on the back of my hand. I put about 3 dots of different shades, and what I do is I spread it out on the wrist. A better test would be to put these drops on your neck because it's the most accurate. What I'm doing is spreading out the foundation so that it looks like how it would be applied on the skin. After which I'm going to take my phone and take a photo, basically with flash photography. What this does is shows you whether or not which of the foundation drops actually blend into your skin best. The one that disappears would be your accurate shade match. Okay, so because we got chased out of the store, I just wanted to end by saying that out of the 3 stripes that I put on my wrist, the one that disappears based on flash photography is the one that you should pick. So yes, if you guys have any questions, do leave it down below. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And yeah, if you guys find this